Okay, guys. So basically, right, I'm gonna have to show because obviously, if people see where it's coming from, they're gonna be more they're gonna be more encouraged to want to probably watch the rest of the video. Okay? So let me just put that bit in again for those people who came in late. So what I was saying, there are 5 steps I believe in, and the 5 steps, you get the knowledge. I've got to teach you the psychology, the discipline, the money management, and of course, a strategy with an edge. Now, a lot of people out there are teaching trading, forex trading, as if it's easy. So many times I've gone into webinars and people they're teaching people and they said, listen, you can live off a £500 account. It's virtually impossible. Now, I've got another course right now that I'm actually researching. And basically for that one, it's to do with stock trading. Okay. And I've put together every single thing for that course. So therefore, one can actually look and say, okay, I'm looking to get into Facebook, and it's going to be over the next 10 years. So every single month, I'm going to buy a little tiny piece of Facebook, and I'm doing Facebook for the next 10 years. I just keep buying, buying, and that's going to be to buy this or to buy that. Even last night I was actually doing some research, index fund, mutual funds, okay, and even the ISA, right, the SIP, all of these things can be invested in. And actually, if you're actually say for example, I was even to buy the S&P when it's on a dip. If I was to buy the S&P, right, 10 years ago. I was putting a £500 a month, buying some more of the S&P every single month for the last 10 years. I would have at least £750,000 in my bank account. That's how much the S&P has actually increased. And that's something I'm going to show you as well. But ultimately, the steps are we need the knowledge, we need the psychology, we need the discipline, we need the money management, and we need a strategy with an edge. Now, when I say strategy with an edge, I'll just show you again what I was talking about. This one here will deposit £500. You can see these are all tiny profits. These are not no major money there, but we want to show that, of course, and then people might say, okay, for how long? Another thing, people have to say, well, you know, um, that is if you do the calculation there, £200 upon £500, times 100%, you're looking at nearly 40%, just over 40%. So that's how much money it's accumulated. But of course, remember, this is a relative size account. Like this is a very small size account, you know, and we can't afford to then because I could be saying, you know what, and this is where the psychology and the money management comes in. It's very small size trades in terms of volume, and the psychology is that because I'm winning, 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 you know, why not go for £100 in that trade? So I'm saying. So we don't want that. We're gonna follow rules. We're gonna be disciplined. But let me show you now. Here we've got this is the book for that strategy. And it's on Amazon, right? But there's also another one here where I was sharing with you. It's another strategy. This book as well has been published. I've got a stock trading one that I'm looking at. So here we've got right. There's a lot of swap involved here. So, for this strategy, it's probably best not do it with a company, who is very greedy on their swaps because it's over £2,200 was given to them. However, in terms of profit on this £3,000 account, there was over £2,000 made. Over £2,000 made, it's down 287, but over £2,000, roughly 1,900 on this. Now remember, it's a religious practice for this strategy. And all it is, we're just looking at the ebbs and flow of the market. Okay. So it's really straightforward. You can see, look, there are losses, there are gains, there's withdrawals, you know, and so on. So it's not like, there's no like trying to break the bank to make money here. It's about being meticulous. It's about actually following rules. Okay. I've got another strategy here that I want to show you. This one is a stock trading one that I'm actually researching because I've got a number of people. They don't want to trade forex, they want to trade stocks. So if I look and show you this one here, Okay, so this one is I'm doing some extensive research on this one. Now, why I love showing people and students real account. And why I tend to do this is because this is something I've always wanted. And in Birmingham, what I did was I was like, you know what? We've got so many people who are saying they're Forex trader. But then when I say to them, can you show me a real account that you've done what you're going to be teaching? And most, I would say 99 times out of 100, they'll never be able to show you a real account. They'll never able to show you a profitable trading account. Not even a demo they can show you. And that's what I try to do. I try to show people because what I wanted to see, Marlon is doing it. And if Marlon is saying that he's doing these things to achieve, and also Marlon has lost a lot of money as well because I've invested. I've made 70,000, I've made 20,000, right? And of course, if your psychology is not right, if your money management is not right, you can end up losing all that money. And that's what trading is like because you are your own boss. Nobody is sitting over me and telling me what to do. Literally what I say to my partner now is like, listen, please, I'm asking you to check in on me to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. At one point, I asked my friend as well. My friend, I said, Carlisle, please ask me on a weekly basis, how am I doing? Because you get so complacent, you get so relaxed. Like I know that at my workplace, because I still go and do a couple days a week, because children really love my lessons at school. And I'm like, there are rules that I've got to follow. Their rules are governed. Even like I remember once I did a TikTok on my phone while I sent a TikTok video, and then kids in the school were always like following me, so they saw my TikTok. And then the head teacher came to me that, can you not do any TikTok during work time, please? And do it outside. I did this during my dinner time, but they're saying no because the kids are always, looking at what you're doing and blah blah blah. And if parents then go and get hold of it, then should he be working? But I did it in my dinner time. But of course, I'm governed by the principle of that school, So as a forex trader or a stock trader doing this thing, you don't need you don't have a boss. You're in charge of yourself. You can trade from Sunday night all the way to Friday night. Only Saturdays off. You can do all of that. But what I'm saying here is this, right? At the end of the day, you are in charge of your actions. And let me tell you, sometimes when you have too much leeway on your actions, you'll end up just doing whatever you want. And that's where I go wrong sometimes because I'm like, I've made 70,000 pounds and every single thing I touch turned to gold. So, you know what? If I move this 200,000 pounds to 270,000 pounds, I'm there looking for a house in something called Field. And I'm like, this is amazing. But you know what? No, I'm not gonna get a house like for 200,000. That's a cash. And then I'm gonna have to have a massive amount of payment, nearly 1/8. So I said, if I can get this 380,000 pounds. So you know what I'm gonna do now? I'm just gonna go big. And that very day I went big, right? We had the war in Russia. Russia invaded Russia and then all that hard work to earn that 70K, you just see everything just disappear because of greed. And that's the thing. When you're your own boss, these things do happen because you flaunt the rules. It's almost like you're basically driving a car before you even get your license. And then after that, no, you decide that you're gonna twit up on and do all sorts of bad practice because there's nothing monitoring you. And that's one of my biggest challenge, like not having, I most actually I make my I make most of my money during even when I'm teaching because I'm so disciplined then. Because like when I've got my one-to-one, I've got like so for the last 10 months, I haven't had any losses at all. For the last 10 months. And why? Because probably because I've got students and I'm just like stick to the rules and I'm pressuring my students to follow the rules. Because I go into my students' trading account and basically and check on what they're doing. Or for those students who don't want me to do that, they just send me a screenshot of the trades that they've taken to make sure they're doing it right. And as a result, I'm able to say, okay, then, yeah, you're on the right track. No, you need to go on, and I'll go in and close some of the trades and so on. And said, no, you're not doing it properly, you know? So that's what I sort of do. Now, this is another strategy here as well with the stock trading. So you might look and said, let me see, you probably know, you know about Amazon, you know about Aon, you know about Barclays, BA, Aviva Insurance, Barclays, so lots of big companies. You can trade all of these companies. If I right click and just show you some of the symbols, we can trade stocks from Australia, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, all of these places. So it's not only stocks you can trade what we call indices. You can trade the Forex, as I said. We've got the major currency pairs, we've got the exotics, we've got the minors, all of these things we can trade. We can do energies like Brent oil, natural gas, yeah, the crude oil from America there. We can trade the indices, which is all of, like the FTSE 100. All of these things we can trade. Whereas back in the days, it was like 1984 and those times, people were on the trading floor. I want this, I want it for this amount. And you see one bag of crowd of people. Let me show you what it used to be like. This is what it used to be like. Okay, it used to be like this. Back in the days, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like back in the days on the trading floor. And everybody's trying to get the bid in, you know. And but we didn't even have proper computers. There were some big machines, you know. And this is later on. So this was like in the 80s, you know. And computer and internet, But now, as I said, you're your own boss. You can do whatever you want to do, you know. Now, what I'm going to show you now, and I prefer to sort of teach it on the chart itself. But let me show you. If I start from here, because we did get up to this point. I did speak to you about, like why do you want to trade? Some people trade for residual income, some people want to leave their jobs. But I'm gonna say to leave your job, you need to have money in a trading account. And especially the strategy that's in the book. That can make you a good chunk of money. Yeah, but you've got to have a good amount of money in your bank account. Now, obviously, like myself now, I could actually trade for a living, but if I was to say living in Gambia, because in Gambia, um you could live off £250 a month easily, and you could be getting your fresh fish from the beach. But you've got obviously to be nice if you've got your own house there. So you're not paying any rent or any sort of mortgage or anything. But having your own place, you could actually live because the average salary in Gambia is £120 a month. So 250 just twice. I just times it by two. But if you really want to have a good life, you need like, minimum £500, you know? And of course, you don't really need £500 unless you're going to pay the servicing for the swimming pool and probably for the security and at the front of your house and so on. And you might need a helper as well. So you can live some really good life, a high standard of life. Now, hobby, some people might want to trade for hobby, diversifying careers, but not only that. But for me right now, it's more about residual income. And also the fact that I love it also becomes a hobby of mine. I eat, sleep, and breathe trading. Of course, I do teach A-level maths, A-level physics, and I love motivating young people as well. But I got bored. Even for those people who were here last week, I've bought several properties and basically using credit cards. And what I use is a strategy in terms of I use to get to a credit card, one of the credit cards like 30K. I use it to buy the property using money transfer, pay it off, release equity, pay off the credit card, and get another property using another credit card. Money transfer, get up to 2 years to pay it off. All of those sort of strategies. And I did those without actually being told how to do it. But of course, I've made mistake because I've actually bought properties where people pull out and then I end up losing money. I even fix up properties and then the person said no, they're not going to sell and then refuse to give back my money. So I'm a risk taker. But one thing I'm going to say though, I would say any job that you do, try and enjoy it. And don't believe in your job because until you've actually stockpiled. But one of the books though, I'm gonna tell you, the richest man in Babylon. He basically, what happens? He saved 10, he always pay yourself first, right? He saved 10%, right, of his pay every single month. So every month when you get your pay, you say pay yourself first. Put that money down, right? Because I only got to this point in terms of when I first came to the UK in 2000. I basically my pay was like 13,000, and this head teacher was robbing me because my pay should have really been 21,000. But because I love teaching so much, I didn't really like, I was enjoying myself. It's only when my friends told me that this man is underpaying me. And then I end up saying, okay, right, you know what? Let's see. And I just started saving every month. People were staying with, I didn't charge me a lot. And what I'm going to say, tell your children to stay at home as long as they can. Because if I was out there paying big bag of rent and gas and electric and all of that, I wouldn't have been able. I was able to save 20 or £1,000 to buy my first property in 2 years. I was doing cleaning jobs. I used to leave in my suit and go to BT and do cleaning because I knew what I wanted. You understand? And it's to build up that cash so I can actually do it. And that 2 years is what made the difference. Of course, nowadays it's a bit more challenging, in terms of because these properties that is over 300 and something £1,000, I think it's daylight robbery because they don't work that and they shouldn't be, selling for that. And I'm also going to drop into this, if you can, Pakistan, India, Africa, those are the places now. So got some really good deals you know. So don't think that England is the only place that you can invest. And if I was really using my knowledge, and because back then I had so much opportunity on loans and an opportunity to get loans from these banks, I should have actually been thinking about Africa a long time ago, or even the Caribbean islands. I should have been thinking about and investing in those places because a lot of places that you invest now, and it's not too late. England now, some look a shock for like 400,000, you know? So I'm gonna say to you, like, if you can, start also thinking about buying land if you can. Because remember, it's about diversification. So even though you're doing trading, and this is the thing, a lot of my students over the years, as much as I teach them, I'm talking about trading students. I teach them about trading, but sometimes they don't even end up trading. Why? Because the growth mindset has changed. The way they think has changed. And for example, I might call on my student. I said, how are you? I'm not too bad. I'm saying, why we've got to use bad? Why we've got to measure bad in this conversation? It's going to be, I'm great. Sometimes when my students call me, I'm like, you know what? They call me and say, how are you doing? I'm so happy now I'm talking to you. So we now can actually move forward and make our day and our next lesson the best ever because it's that mindset of positivity. It's that mindset of what I want, I'm going to get, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to work for it and I'm going to do the right things. So there's no limitation on what you can learn. There's no limitation on what you can achieve. And multiple income stream is always the way forward. It's almost like a student said to me in one of my lessons, right? She said, well, I don't need geography. But I'm like, listen, you don't need geography, but it's the average point score of all your result. So everything is important. So I'm saying like, okay, you've got trading, you've got properties, you've got your normal job, you're a nurse, you're a doctor. Nothing is stopping you from adding something else to it. But whatever you're adding, try and enjoy it. Try and make it something that you're happy doing. Because if you're not happy doing it, then don't do it. Yeah? So those are some of the reasons I said. Now we come to I did say, in terms of positivity about money, I've done that. These are some really key jargons that, I'll tell you about. Now, ultimately, this is what we have now. In terms of the major currency pairs, let me show you now. If I say now that the Aussie versus the US dollar, if I said I'm going to buy the Aussie, I mean that the Aussie is going to go up and the US dollar is going to go down. Let me show you what it looks like in real terms. Okay, so for example here, right, I have bought the Aussie Singapore dollar. So it's one currency pair against another currency. It's one currency pair against another currency pair, right? Now I'm saying that this currency pair, the Aussie, you can see there it is there. Aussie Singapore dollar, right? If I should oververt, you can see the Australian dollar versus the Singapore dollar. And the symbol for the Australian dollar is AUSGD, right? that means I'm saying if I buy it, I'm expecting it to go up. Look, it's gone down. Look at this. It's gone down. It's gone up. It's come down. It's gone up. It's come down. It's gone up. Come all the way down here, gone up. Come back there, gone up. Come back down, then gone up. Then come back down. So that's the reason I bought now. And I'm looking to take my profit there. Okay. And I'm looking to make 85 pounds on this trade. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. So, but then, however, at this very point, the Australian dollar is in a downtrend, right? Whereas the Singapore dollar is strong. So this is what's happening. So if I'm saying I'm looking to buy, I'm expecting that this currency is gonna go up and that one is gonna go down. Okay, but then it's the opposite that's happening. Of course, I've just got in, so it's fine. Of course, yeah, yeah. So it's going, yeah. So basically, it's going down, and then I'm expecting that this thing is going to go back up to that point. Yeah. So yeah, I'm expecting that to go up, right? So that's what we've got there. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So we're expecting this thing to go up, and for example, the Singapore dollar, it's weak, so it's going to go down. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we've got there. All right. So if we then look at say the Aussie, let's look at this now. The Australian. This is Australian dollar, US dollar. Now, if you notice here, the market goes up, come down, market goes up, come down, the market goes up, come down. But if you notice, every single time it comes to this point, it goes back up, come down to goes back up, come down to this point, goes back up. Now, I'm not looking for the entire up move. I just want a piece of the pie there. So that's the reason why I've done that. Yeah. So that's all I'm doing. And if you look again, got another trade here, right? The market comes down, go back up. It's just ebb and flow of the market. Okay. The ebb and flow of the market. That's what we're doing. That's it. Yeah. And we follow this strategy. And this strategy is working really, really well. And if this thing should go carry on going up and up and up, then we're all good. And we're just looking to make profit. So the market is the ebb and flow of the market. That's really important. Yeah. So from that then. So look at this now. So I said to you, I'm looking to buy Euro Jappy. I've given you an example here. I said Aussie, if we buy, we're expecting the Aussie to go up and the US dollar to go down. If we sell, we're looking for Aussie to go down and USD to go up. Now, can everybody now type in the chat for me if I was to buy this, what I'm expecting? So I'm going to put the word buy. Buy. Tell me what you're expecting. So you're going to type the answer for that one in the chat for me, please. Everybody type your answer in the chat for me, please. So that one, I'm looking to buy the euro. Yes. Excellent, 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 Laura. Okay, come on. I need everybody to have a go. Thank you. Okay, okay, okay. So you are going up. So you are going up. Um, yep, excellent. So we're expecting euro to go up and Jappy to go down. That's it. Okay. Now, what you'll notice though is this, right? For example, we've got the euro US dollar. Let's find the euro US dollar. Okay, let's find the euro US dollar, okay? So I'm gonna go for the euro US dollar, euro US dollar. Let's find the euro US dollar and show you something here. So I go to symbol, euro US dollar, this one. So let me show you something. You see this euro US dollar here? Euro, US dollar. Can't see the Euro, US dollar. Can you see it? Euro, US dollar. Let's do. I'm looking, but I can't see the Euro, US dollar. Can anybody see it? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Now, as you can see this point there. It's 108.30 and it's 108.35. Now, when the brokers, right, are doing, if I was to say buy, right, I'm going to buy this thing, right, at 108.35, then I'm going to end up paying a spread of five, right? Five, we call this 5 points. So that's 30 and that's 35. The difference between the difference between is 5 pips. So we call it pips, right? Now, this is how the broker, this company that I'm using their platform, this is how they make money. They make money by making these the sell and the buy have a difference between them. So the difference here, that's 30, that's 35. The difference is 5. So if I was doing £1 for every pip, we call this pip. So then we would actually pay £5 to get into this trade. Of course, that's if we're doing a pound a point. We could only do 10 pence per movement, so 10 pence per pip. In that case, it would be 50 pence would pay to get into this trade. Okay, so let's have a look at this now. It's the same thing here. You've got the 45, you've got the 46. It's 1 pip difference. That's what we call the spread. Okay, now let's have a look now. So basically, we have got the stock trading, which I was talking to you about, and these are some of the main ones that we can all trade on the platform. We've also got cryptocurrency. Look at this as well. You can trade even crypto if you want to trade crypto. Look at this. There's crypto there. You've got the high cap crypto. You've got Litecoin, Matic, Solana. If you notice, they go against the US dollar. US dollar. You've got the Bitcoin. You got your Shiba. You got your Ripple. You've got your Bitcoin. You've got the Binance. You've got Bitcoin US dollar. The Dutch coin, all of those things you can trade on the same platform. Um, so we can trade, and cryptocurrency is just another thing. Exactly the same thing. We can trade it. Okay? We can do exactly the same thing there. Where basically, we have got, you can, if you think it's gonna go up, let me show you. Let me show you what Bitcoin has been doing. Okay, so let's show you what Bitcoin has been doing there. Because it's important that I actually show you, because what I want to do is just to show you what really trading is about, so you can actually see. So we got Bitcoin, yeah. So Bitcoin USD, yeah. Bitcoin, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Now here's Bitcoin, right? It's still open. So Bitcoin, you can trade Bitcoin 7 days a week. Bitcoin went all the way up to 107,818. Based on the strategy, we could look to buy Bitcoin there if it comes back down to this level, which is 70,000, to push back all the way back up to this point. But you can buy and sell Bitcoin. So you don't have to go and have a big chunk of money, but you can trade Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin came up to here, right, we're looking, you could look to sell. We can sell Bitcoin if we want to. So when we see, because initially what Bitcoin did, it went up to there, come back down, and then went up there, and then I sold it and I made a bit of profit coming down to there. Yeah. So we can literally buy and sell Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So you don't need to physically go and try and say you want a coin. We can trade it that it's going up, we can trade it that's going down. But of course, Bitcoin is 24 hours. Can you see how this is moving? Up and down there? Yeah, that's it. Of course, there you can see that there's a huge difference between the two in terms of spread, because this is 86,319 and this is 86,346. Yeah. But of course, that's I'll show you like how you go about doing that bit. No. So that's for that part. Now we come to what do you notice about these cryptocurrency? Type in the chat for me. What do you notice about all of these cryptocurrencies? Type in the chat for me. What do you notice about these symbols? All of these symbols here. What do you notice about all of these symbols? Type it in the chat for me, please. Yes, yes, Coral, you're correct. Nice one. Yes, Coral, good question. How do you decide when to buy or what to buy? Yeah, good question. Yes, yes, Laura. Yes, excellent, Mitzi. Excellent. Now, I'm gonna show you now. Others, let me show you now. Here, I'm gonna right click again, right click, and I go to symbol. And when I go to symbol, can you see now that this is a high cap? Let's look at the mid cap. Mid cap also links in. Yeah, look at the mid cap all tied to US dollar. But let's look at the low cap. The low cap now, not all of them are tied to the US dollar. Okay. Okay, so this company only does the ones that are tied to the US dollar, but not all of them because we can have Bitcoin, we can have Bitcoin, the British pound, we can have Bitcoin, Australian dollar. But for these, right, probably they only doing the majors. So the high cap are the most traded coins. So all of these you'll see here, they're all tied to the US dollar. So these are the major Bitcoins, or sorry, not Bitcoin, but the major cryptocurrencies. Okay? So this is like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. But then Ethereum, these are all cryptos, yeah? Now, where we are now. So we've got commodity and indices, which I shared with you earlier. So the commodities and indices. Now, if we go to indices, the major indices like the US, the Wall Street Cash, the France, that the UK 100, we call this the FTSE 100, was the top 100 shares companies in the UK. So the top 100 stocks company in the UK. For example, we've got like GlaxoSmithKline, we've got Barclays, those companies, the big companies, the mega companies, they're in the FTSE 100. Of course, we've got the FTSE 250 and so on. We've got the German DAX and so on. We've got the Nasdaq, we've got the Nikkei 225 cash, which is in Japan. So that's what we call the indices, and we can trade them as well. So guys, I'm telling you, there's so many things to trade. No, I'm looking at one of the questions that was asked. No, no, Carl, you did put in the chat, Carl, that how do you decide when to buy and what to buy? Because what we're looking for, it depends on the strategy that we're using, and we're looking for the ebbs and flow. And what we don't want to do, Carl, we don't want to buy expensive. We want to buy cheap. So let me show you now. We'll be looking to say buy there. So all those people who bought Bitcoin right there at let me see what's his price here now. So they bought Bitcoin at 16,000 and it moved all the way up to there. They be laughing. That's a lot of money. Even people who bought at this level here when it broken through here and moved all the way up to there. It has moved now, let me tell you now, over 54% since the 70,000. Okay. Yes, Shada, the book is beginners friendly, but of course, I still do think you need to do some reading. And let me tell you, Baby Pips is a good site to start on as well. Baby Pips are a really good site where it gives a lot of information. So it's a good place to start from. Okay? Now, so we talked there about commodities. You can trade them. You okay? Now, so this is what the commodities look like. But of course, we've got the commodity, we've got the indices, right? And the commodities like gold, silver, aluminum, zinc, sugar, all of these are the commodities, yeah? And then these over here, we call them, these are the indices. No, the stock book, I haven't published that one yet. No, what I've done with the stock book is I'm doing some really detailed research. And then what I've noticed, the strategy I was using for the stock, it has limitations and holes in it. So I had to delay because the plan was to publish it in February. But then I found that there are a few hiccups within the strategy. And what I want is I want something that I know when people, doesn't matter who you be, if you're following those rules, of course I can't guarantee you, but I want it to be quality because my thing about trading is about finding solution for people. So therefore they want to do it and they want to be encouraged and I want them to be encouraged to do it. So I want to make sure that's quality. So there's a delay because I still need a little bit more data before I can confirm that yes, it's ready. Now, here we go. So what time? What are some of the best times to trade? Now, let me tell you something. This strategy in terms of it within the book, basically you can trade it any time of the day. But the best times to trade it is going to be 2:30 UK time. Another good time is 5 p.m. UK time. Another good time is 8:30 a.m. in the morning. Another good time is 9 p.m. at night. So what I've done is because I know, like myself, people work. So because people work, then what I need to do is to make sure I create something. That means I'm not excluding or, for example, discriminating against anybody because they work or they do not work. But everything, it will work for everyone. So I did a lot. I put my trades on at this time consistently. I put my trade on at that time consistently and recognize that the best, however, I must say that the best time to do it is either between 1:30 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. UK time, and then not the next time is 9 p.m. at night. But you have got to do it like between 9 and 9:30. After that, then you don't really want to do it because the spread will then collapse. Okay, meaning that you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to get in a trade. Okay, so that's the best time to trade. Okay, now I used to trade. Let me tell you, I used to trade like 1 a.m. in the morning because I used to try and trade a jockey session and I did a lot of research trading at that time religiously every single night. Let me tell you, if you were to come in my office, right, I had books upon books upon books, notes upon notes upon notes, folders upon folders upon folders. I didn't sleep. I was just at it. If I was in Jamaica, I guarantee I would have had a PhD in physics because that's what I was doing. But then I realized in England, you're not going to really get any sort of thing unless I plan to lecture at university. But yeah. But anyway, this is how it is for people trading there, like on the trading floor. This is what it was back in the days. Nowadays, as I said, you're your own boss, which I explained earlier. This we've got different times. Some countries they're in a market open later. For example, if you notice Australian, because they've got different time to us, New Zealand, Tokyo, they are more like because remember like America 5, 6 hours ahead of us. So, our 2:30 in the morning is gonna be there probably what? I'm sorry, our 2:30 p.m. is gonna probably be there 8:30, 9:30, depending on the time of the year. So they're going to be different times. But we are good if we're trading in the UK. No, all you've got to do is the times that I've told you, you just have to look at the country and just find the difference. That's all. No, so this is the times that we've got. Now the Sydney and the Tokyo in Japan there and so on. You can trade those times, but the market doesn't really move. Okay? It doesn't really move. You see the overlap between the London session, and when we say London session, we're talking about European session because all of the different markets open and close at the same time in Europe, which is 4:30 for stocks. Whereas the American market, for stocks, it closes at 9 p.m. at night. Okay? So you can get home in the evening and because you're saying, okay, I don't want to bring my laptop in work. I don't want to do this, but then I can trade a stock when I get home at 6. So between 6 p.m. and 8:55 p.m., you can actually trade stocks in the UK, but that would be the American market. Of course, you can trade the Australian market you can also trade the Japanese market. Okay. Now, even though it depends on the time a trader, now it's about what would be the best time for you to trade when you are available. Yeah. And of course, if you're working, if you're doing a night shift and you do get like an hour break, then you can always trade the Sydney session or the Tokyo session. But then you probably want to do the Aussie pair because the Australian market is open. So they're going to move a little bit more. But until the UK and the London session, then there's not significant movement. And the best time to trade, that's the reason I was saying to you between 1 and 2:30 p.m. because that's when we get the real heat, the real fire in the market. When the London session and the UK and the US session overlap. And that's the time when you get lots of ebb and flow and lots of opportunity to trade. Okay? And then if we come to know, so when's the best time to trade? It depends on your focus. It depends on what you've got to do. It depends on if you're working or not. But as I said, some of the best times between 9 and 10 p.m. UK time. If you can't really, especially now as well, it's better to trade on the daily time frame and above rather than just doing the lower time frame because that's just going to be too quick. If you're somebody who's at home every day, you can, and you've got the time, you can trade throughout the daytime. If that's up to you. Now, what I'm going to ask now is, are there any questions? Because I've been talking now for a while. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Right, let me go down the line. Amjad, any questions so far? Amjad, any questions so far? Amjad, can you hear me? Okay. Caroline, any question?
No questions so far,
Okay.
Marlon. I'm sorry, I'm on twice, sorry.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Mitzi, what did you say about the platform? The platform is called MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. Donald, any question? Donald, any questions? Any question? Any question? iPhone, any question?
Sorry,
Yeah, any question?
no, not really. I'm sort of picking it all up and taking it all in. So, but it's,
Okay.
it's very good so far.
Yeah, thank you. Carry on, any question? How much do I charge for the session? It depends. It depends. No, it all depends. So what we're looking at there is it depends really. But Shade, we will talk more. But it all depends because of course, what I want is because Sade's question is how much do I charge for the session? No. Um, back then I sort of advertise and then sort of say, look, this is what we're doing. But then I've got people come onto the sessions and pay them money, and then I've got to chase after them. I've got to be asking them for homework, and I'm not taking my thing seriously. Because everything I do, I don't want to be wasting my time and wasting other people's time. I need people who are serious, people who really want to achieve, people want to learn, because that's what I'm about. I'm about developing people and empowering people. And if people are going to pay their money but then not take action, then that's very hurtful on my part. So yes, of course I want to earn because of my time, but at the same time I still want people who are serious, you know, because I want to solve a problem. People want to make an extra income. I'm telling you how painful it was. I saw two Asian. I was at Alton Towers, and I saw two Asian lad talking, and they were like talking about, oh, I bought some shares in Facebook, and I bought some shares in Amazon. I'm like, and then the way they were talking, and I'm like, nah, I think this was like 2007. I'm like, what? I didn't even know what they were talking about, and I'm thinking back now. I'm like, look, those those young kids were like talking like it's nothing. I'm like, listen, so knowledge, just imagine if I, just probably bought Amazon and Facebook way back then, the amount of money that would be in my trading account, you know? So it's a skill, it's a good skill to learn. It's good to understand these things so you can then go and do your own investment. And you would need me once you learn and understand what to do. Because once you've learned it, then it's going to be lasting forever until MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 no longer exists. And it's very unlikely they're gonna remove that system because this is for the regular retail trader as me and you, you know. Now we come to the final bit I'm going to talk about today until next week. Now we'll pick up from here. We have got what we call fundamental analysis. Now fundamental analysis is just like, all right now in Japan, right? Um, they're in deflation. The Japanese people are people that don't spend, they save. So the country, literally what they did was they put the bank in Japan had to have negative interest rate. So that means if you put your money in a Japanese bank, you pay the bank to keep your money. And that's because what they were trying to do is to discourage people from saving and for them to spend. Also, the population in Japan is an aging population. When you hear that argument about they want people to come there and get children, it's not really a joke. It was serious because the population is depleting because they live long, they live very long, they're very healthy people. The literacy rate is way, but guess what? The currency is bad. Let me show you what I mean. Look, you're gonna see now. Let me show you some of these Japanese currencies. Look at this one here. So you can see and this is fundamental analysis. So, let me just get some Japanese currency so you can see what I'm talking about. Um, so fundamental is really important. So the Japanese there, um, Japan, okay, Japan. How's it Japan? Okay, so let's have a look at some of these Japanese things now. So, if I then go like basically, let's go at the monthly. The Japanese currency has been going up and up and up. It's only recently it's coming down. Look at that as well. See? Can you see? Almost in a straight line going up. Okay, it's because the economy is doing even Jamaica is Jamaican currency is not bad compared to Japanese currency. Look at the US dollar. It's been just going, looks one almost like a straight line going up. Of course, come back down, but went all the way up. Yeah. Yeah. So the economy is not doing very well. So that's what we talk about, the fundamental analysis. So we've got to look and see, because they've got negative interest rates. So if I go into, let me show you a platform where we can actually look and see, because this is what drives investing.com. This is what drives the currency. Okay. So look at this now. Let me show you something here. Okay. Um, okay, so basically, let me see. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So guys, so basically, let me see, interest rate, currency. Okay, so, uh, okay, so let's have a look at this now, guys. Yeah. So here we go now. So this is the interest rate in America, interest rate in Europe, interest rate at the Bank of England, the Swiss National Bank. But let's look at the Bank of Japan. They've only recently, if I was to click on this, you can see the interest rate over time. Now, the interest rate only been has increased recently in the last couple of months, right? So therefore, the countries with a higher interest rate will be the ones that the currency would go up in that direction. So for example, the US dollar is in an uptrend. The Bank of England, which is England, going up in an uptrend. For example, RBA in an uptrend. compared to the lower interest. For example, all of these currencies are this currency they're up against the Bank of Japan. So the Japanese currency. So that's another strategy we could look at. And in fact, you actually get paid if you were to trade the Fed is the US dollar. This is the Bank of Japan, right? If you buy the US dollar against the Japanese yen, you end up getting paid on the swap. But that's something else we can talk about, okay? So so in terms of when we say fundamental analysis, this is usually a trading method where you use data published from different countries. For example, fundamental analysis in from a stock trading perspective, Barclays now are making a big chunk of money. Why Barclays making a big chunk of money? Because the Bank of England have increased interest rate, and so therefore they can charge a lot more for mortgage rates. And the people who are on the variable rate had to then jump onto they were in fixed, the fix come to an end, they had to jump on variable rate. So those people are going to pay a lot more money, you know. But remember, these things are things that you're aware of, but it doesn't form part of the strategy. The strategy is, for example, let me show you a simple how the strategy is. So we look at the daily, that's step one, see where the lines are drawn. We go to the 4 hour time frame, then we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And that's the strategy. But then in order for you to understand where this is, because this is the strategy, but then remember at the start, this is what I said to you. The strategy with an edge, which is just this, going from just looking at the chart, which I'll tell you what to look for. So that's one thing. Then I spoke to you about the money management, me losing money and acting like an idiot, right? Not following my discipline, sometimes being emotion because whatever problems I'm having in my life. You let it affect what you should be doing and not what you should do. And then you've got the knowledge. But this bit, of course, is what you're going to use for all of these tying together to form the strategy. Because you are the one who's in charge. Okay? Now, so what I'm going to say then, yeah, is this. What I'm going to say then, right? Is there any question you've got? Any question now, guys? Because next week, no, I will now show you what it looks like. And then I'll then pitch you a sales pitch next week to basically say, yeah, do you want to carry on? And if and what you want to do. Okay, now before you go, any questions? Okay, guys, now what I want you to do, right, is this. I would like you to do for me a piece of homework because I set homework every single week. What I want you to do is this one is recorded. So I'm going to need you to send me a WhatsApp message so I can send you the link for the recording. Now your homework will be, and you're going to WhatsApp this homework to me. You're going to basically, right? Can you give a recommendation for a trading platform? Yes, I can. Yes, Carrie, and I can do that. If you send me a WhatsApp message, I'll send you a link, okay? Now, what I'm going to suggest, guys, is this. The homework is to do a quick summary, a one-page summary of what you've learned today. And remember, there's no grammar, there's nothing. Just write what you've learned today, what you've picked up today, what your understanding of trading so far is. Okay? And then send it across to me in a WhatsApp message. And I will also send you the link, the video for today's lesson. Any questions before we go? Any questions? Any questions, guys? Any any
No.
any feedback? Can I get some feedback on the session today? Can I get some feedback on the session today? Can I get some feedback on the sessions today? Um,
It's good.
Yeah,
yeah. Any questions as well? Type any questions you've got. And next week, same time, because some people that weren't able to make it at the 4:30. So that's the reason why I put it at a later time. So I can try and cater for everyone because most people say they're out and about. Yeah, any
Yeah.
feedback on the session today before you go?
I just wanted to say for me, I think it's obviously it's a good session, and thank you for the information. I
Yeah.
feel like it is a little bit of a lot to take in, index, mutual funds, and then you go to stock and indices. So I feel like it's just a lot of information just to
Yeah,
take
because you
in.
see, but remember, we're not doing all of those things. But at
Yeah,
least you see, by you hearing the vocabulary,
yeah,
when you hear it, because let me tell you what used to happen. I used to be watching movies, right? And I'm watching these movies and hear this guy talking about index funds. I'm hearing this guy talking about he bought how many stocks and all that. But you see, when you're now exposed to this now and you're seeing it in real term, then it then makes sense. Because
hmm,
I didn't know these vocabulary. But then of course I've shared it now and you're actually, reciting these words back to me, that's a great thing within itself. So yeah, and because remember, this is more about just telling you the different things that involve, so that you can say, okay, this is something that's interesting. This is something I really want to be a part of.
yeah,
No? So it's more about giving you information and try and compact this information into this week's and next week lesson. So at least you can then make an informed judgment next week at the end of the session.
okay, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, no, thank you very much for your time today. As I said, just give me some feedback before you go. And yeah, and see you next week, same time.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, very interested. The way you talk about things to sort of simplify it as best as you can for us to understand.
Thank
Um,
you.
and it's good, because like I said, sometimes you can put people to sleep. Some people, but yeah, it was interesting enough to keep me,
Yeah.
tuned in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, nice, yeah. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, man, nice, really. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Okay.
but I won't let you sleep next week because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do some trades on Bitcoin next week.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'll show you
Mm.
like how we can actually take a trade, how simple it is.
Do you use the 10-year bonds to check the market?
Not necessarily, because of course, the 10-year bonds, some people will do that. Because
Yeah.
of course, the bond has a negative correlation with some stocks, also with some currency pairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got positive correlation where both of them rise together. But it depends on the strategy that you're using.
Okay. Yeah.
So like, because even if you had asked me about, say, bonds 10 years ago and you say bonds, I'm like, Bond who? James Bond? You understand? So
Yeah.
so here we go again, the vocabulary,
Yeah.
So it's all about that exposure and learning and like and just and it's knowledge, and the beauty of knowledge, it's good, you're learning new skills. And that's what I try and encourage people and say, listen, of course, we can go and look at a TikTok video and we can gimmick about it. But then we can go and read up something about like what's going on in Barclays, what's going on in Lloyd's, what's going on in NatWest, and what's going on in Singapore, like it's just another,
Mm.
just learn about things.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because I've been talking to a few people and trying to understand myself, and I do get the impression that the bond market or the 10-year bond market are one of the major players in pushing the market.
Yeah, and but then you push the market in one sense because remember, like even the 10-year bonds, remember it's most of these bonds that even the American bonds, it's actually owned by China.
Okay.
So I'm saying, so
Mm.
China's got like all of these bonds from the UK, and remember the European bonds, a lot of it's bought by America. So that's the
Mm.
reason why you see there's a lot of time. For example, the war that's happening in Ukraine at the moment, why America can say that, look, you know what, I'm not going to, I'm not going to support you. So therefore, the intelligence, even though Europe has access to that intelligence, they can't give this information to Ukraine unless America gave them the go ahead.
Okay.
So there's a lot of tie-in in terms of fundamentals. And remember, all it takes is for Donald Trump. Let me tell you, we're going to have the best trading years we're going to have because Donald Trump is going to make the market move and jitter. And that's what we
Yeah.
want. So Donald Trump, for me, he's amazing. I love Donald Trump.
Me too.
Donald Trump is going to give us a lot of opportunities. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So every
Yeah.
time Donald Trump comes out and says something, look, the S&P 500, one day it's gone up 500 points, the next day it's gone up 600 points because Donald Trump keep on talking about his tariff in Mexico, his tariff in Canada, and so on. And then now he's saying he's going to add another, 5% onto China. Those things. Yes, yes, yes. Nero.
Yes, sir. It's OG for short, sir.
Yeah, OG, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to find out the strategy you're teaching. Will it be useful for something like gold?
Everything. It can be traded for everything. However,
Okay.
however, you've got to take a different approach. Look, at the moment, let me show you. This account that I've made over 2 grand on, right? I'm trading gold on it. But if you notice here, because you've got to use different strategy for different things.
Yeah.
So I'm currently in gold. I am down at the moment. I'm down at the moment. I think I'm down. Let me tell you. I am down. Gold. So gold. Yeah, I'm down on this trade, £102 at the moment. But
Okay.
then the potential is that I'm going to make probably £300 on gold because of the way I set the system up. So it
Okay.
all depends. You see, I wouldn't trade the strategy I teach in the book. I wouldn't trade gold on it because
Mhm.
that's not for that one. So you've got to almost know which elements you're going to use for which strategy because not all strategy will work with all the currency pairs or all the gold and the commodities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's the reason I've got to do detailed analysis, detailed research to make sure that, the strategies work. And I'll tell you which markets to trade. So, all of these blah, 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 blah that I'm saying, all of these things, I'm gonna then say, okay, this bit, yeah, it's good for you to know it because I needed to have that background. Because as you know, I want you to be able to have that knowledge. So if you've got the knowledge, it's much easier for you then to apply the skill. Because remember, this thing, for example, this strategy is look, we're buying here, we're selling here, taking our profit, and then we've got a profit target up there for the other one. That's it, we're done. That's the
Yeah.
strategy. And you follow it. But
Yeah.
then if you then lose a few trades, right? And you're thinking, you know what? This is not for me, man. I'm a failure. I just can't do everything I do, I fail. You understand? So then I've also got to make sure that I teach you psychology to say, listen, of course we're gonna have some losing trades. We're not gonna win everything, but not because you lose, meaning that you're gonna lose all the time. You're gonna have some losing trades because look, you know what? I basically took my car for MOT. What happened? They said I need 2 new tires. Is what I'm saying. But then I'm thinking, should I buy the expensive tire that Mercedes is saying I want to charge me about nearly what £537 per tire? And I'm like, what the hell? And I got those same 2 tires, yeah, 170 fitted per tire. You understand what I'm talking about? So sometimes you also gotta wait and look to get the cheapest prices to go in to save on money. But we're not gonna compromise the quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all of these things we've got to consider. But it's not difficult. Because once you've got that person, because even myself, I've got a mentor who checks in on me, and I had to pay for this because I recognize that as much as I'm really, really good, I still need someone to check in on me. And as I said as well, I've got my I've got my partner checking in on me as well. Please check in on me to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I'm my own boss. I'm doing what I want to do. I could say, you know what? Let's go for 10 grand this week. But it shouldn't be. It's relative to their account size, you know? Because you want to make this guy came to him and said, Marlon, I needed to double this money for me. I've got £500. I needed to double it. I'm like, yes, I can double it for you. But also equally likely I can lose all the 500. So it's a
Oh.
gamble. But then, of course, if I was to take that £500 and there was no stress or no pressure on me, I could take my time and build it and build it and build it and make sure I take my profit. Because one of my biggest problem was taking profit because I've doubled how many clients account, all of these things. But the problem was never taking profit. Yeah. But guys, I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to take up too much of your time there. So what I'm gonna say then, next week sharp, 7:30, your homework is write a summary of what you understand and then send it through to me. Okay? Thank you very much for your
Of what we
participation today.
understand.
Yeah, say that again.
So you say write a summary of what we
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. What you gain from today's session. All the
Okay.
stuff you can remember.
Okay.
Yeah. And also I'm gonna send you as well. I'm gonna send you a video of this. So send me a WhatsApp. When you send that to me, I'll send you a WhatsApp message. You can always basically just share, look back on the video any little bit and so on. But then at least you know what you remember. And remember you can write it in the chat or you can type it or you can write it on paper, take a screenshot and send it through to me.
All right.
Okay, guys? Thank you again for your participation. See you all soon. God bless.
Thank you, Marlon.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Bye-bye. Bye.